Okay, good evening everyone. When I was coming in, one of the students asked me if I miss college life. And I just realized that this is my fourth visit to Christ and it almost feels like I'm a part of the Christ family. So with the honor of that opportunity, I want to thank all the faculty, staff and the young bright minds here. So thank you so much for this honor. Last Friday, I took my 10-year-old son for a cricket tournament. I chauffeured him. And in the final match, his team was chasing 188 runs. And they were down for 5 wickets when they scored 31 runs. And I could hear my son, along with his friends at the back saying, "Now we can't win, it's done." And then walks in the captain and plays an amazing knock and leads his team to victory. And that's when I thought to myself, we all go through school and college, and then education teaches us a lot. But the real lessons of life are from the school of life. And what I want to do is share a few stories from sports, which are lessons that they've resonated with me, and I hope they resonate with you. So, of you who are following the Indian women's cricket team will recognize the faces there. There's Jemimia Rodriguez, who is a newcomer and doing very well. And when she was given the Indian T-shirt for the first international debut by the stalwarts of the women's cricket team, Indian women's cricket team, she said in a note that she wants to leave the jersey in a better place. And I'll come back to that towards the end of my presentation on what that means. So my first story is about this guy called Karol Tekets. He was a Hungarian shooter, and in 1938 he was a part of the Hungarian army and was considered to be one of the world's best shooters and was one of the favorites to win the gold medal. Okay. So he was one of the favorites to win the gold medal at the 1940 Olympics. So in 1938, during one of the training sessions, a faulty hand grenade burst in his right hand, and that was left immobile. So he underwent treatment for about a couple of months, and when he came back, he realized that he could no longer shoot with his dominant hand. So he went back, he practiced starting to use his left hand. And in 1939, when the Hungarian National Shooting Championships happened, he went there and all the other shooters there expressed sympathy and said, we appreciate you coming to watch us. And he says, I'm not here to watch, I'm here to compete. And he won the gold medal with his left hand. Unfortunately, the Olympics for which he was waiting for and had practiced in 1940 got cancelled because of the World War. And that happened again in 1944, I'm sorry. Again, it got cancelled. So he got the opportunity to participate in Olympics only in 1948, when he was close to 40 years, still having to use his left hand and competing with a lot of youngsters who had come up. And he won the gold medal there in that Olympics. He did not stop there, and he won the gold medal again in the 1952 Olympics. It's an inspiring account for us to say that we're going to be facing a lot of problems in life. We will always have a choice. So Karol had a choice either to be frustrated, blame the circumstances and give up, or do what he did. So my first message to you, which is a lesson from Karol, is that when chips are down, when the times are tough, when nothing seems to be working, you have a choice. And I hope you take the choice of not giving up and moving on. So that's the first story. For those of you who follow soccer, this is a picture of the Greece soccer team from 2004. This is Euro Cup in 2004, and Greece was considered to be one of the weakest teams playing. A lot of folks just wrote off this team saying they don't have a chance. The punters gave the Greece team 150-1 to win. And this team not only qualified, beating what strong teams like Italy and France along the way. They beat the home team, Portugal, in the finals, stunning everybody. Portugal that had players like Ronaldo and Figo. The Greece team, which were underdogs, stunned everybody by winning that. There are two important lessons to be learned here. That each one of us has a spark, has a talent, has the ability to be much better than what we believe to be. The circumstances, failures, people telling us that we are not being able to do something always pulls us down. But it is the belief in ourselves in saying, as they say, you don't know how high you can fly until you really give it a good try, is the second message. The other message from this is, one of the reasons the team won was because of their German coach called Otto. And there's a movie, Otto King, that was made out of him. All of us will need mentors, coaches and guides along our journey, our career journey, our personal journey, to help us guide through difficult times and help us discover the best that is in us. The third story is of friendship of the two folks that you see there, of Jesse Owens and Luz Long, and some of you may have heard this story. Jesse Owens was an American sprinter who was participating in the 1936 German Olympics. And he had a point to prove, because Hitler at that point felt it's going to be the Germans all along the way. So when he was qualifying for the long jump, for which he was already a world champion, he got 3 chances to cross the qualifying mark. When he started to jump the first time, he was in his tracksuit and he thought it was a trial attempt, which was actually a real attempt. So he wasted 1 chance. He again did not jump to the qualifying mark in the second attempt. And that was the time he thought he's not going to even qualify. And in walks in the other person that you see in the picture. His name is Luz Long, who's a German. And he comes to Jesse Owens and says that it's just qualifying. So take the jump, take the lead a little before the jump off mark. Jesse Owens does that. He qualifies and he eventually wins the gold. And all when the entire stadium, including Hitler, is watching them. Later, Jesse Owens writes in his tribute to Luz Long that he could melt all the gold medals that he had, and that would not be an inch on the golden friendship that he shared with Luz Long. It's important for us to develop an abundance mindset. In your journeys of life, there's going to be competition, there's going to be people you'll compete with, but always place friendships that will last beyond that. Always think of winning, a win-win situation, and always learn to appreciate the diverse perspectives. So this is lesson number 3. This is a story from basketball. So basketball was a very famous American sport, and in early 90s, there was this phenomenon where a winning team, once they got the lead, would not pass the ball. They'll just keep the ball with them and they will not play aggressively. As a result of which, the games became boring and no audience dropped. And that's when there was this new innovation that was brought up, which was called the shot clock, which meant that once the team acquired the possession of a ball, they had 24 seconds to score, take a shot. Otherwise, they had to pass it back to the opponent team. And this simple innovation revolutionized the game of basketball and brought the interest back. This is important because a lot of us in our careers and professional lives, once we have reached a stage, once we have reached a potential, we take it easy. We don't just reinvent and re-innovate. Kodak is an example, right? I mean, when they were at their peak, they thought they had nothing more to do and they went away in oblivion. So always constantly reinvent and always try to better yourself, never rest on your laurels. This picture is from the British cycling team. So Britain in 2000s had been dominating most of the games in the Olympics except cycling. And that was one game they were not able to win medals for years together. And they brought in a guy called Dave Bracefield with a single agenda that they wanted England to be the cycling champions of the world. Now, Dave Bracefield was known as the 1% man, and his approach to solve a problem or reach an objective was basically to break the bigger piece into smaller pieces and improve each of these pieces a little. Make a lot of improvements in those small pieces and consistently improve. So with the cycling team, he didn't make many radical changes. He changed the angle of the seat. He got new pillows so that the cyclists could sleep properly. He even got doctors to talk to the cyclists so that they could know how to wash hands properly so that they don't fall sick. And these small things, these small changes, these incremental changes that were brought in, everybody laughed at it and said, these are not going to get us medals. But in the 2008 Beijing Olympics, England won 7 out of the 10 gold medals for the first time in history. They say there's a principle of Kaizen, right? I mean, do small improvements, and if you do that consistently, you will get exponential results. So believe in the power of incremental improvements done consistently over a period of time. This is a story of integrity. So in the Open Italia Championship, you see the 2 tennis players. One of them is Andy Roddick from the US, and the other person is Fernando Verdasco of Spain. So in the final match, Andy Roddick was on his match point. He had dominated the game for most of the time, as expected, and he was just about to win. In the last shot, when Fernando Verdasco hit the ball back, Andy Roddick could not return the serve. And the referee called the ball out. Everybody started clapping, and Fernando walked up to Andy Roddick to congratulate him on the victory. But Andy knew something that the referee did not know, that the audience did not know, the linesman did not know, and Fernando did not know, that the ball had landed on the line and it was not out. So Andy Roddick walks up to the referee and says that his call was incorrect, the linesman's call was incorrect. And after that, the referee overturns his decision and awards the point to Fernando. Given this new lease of life, Fernando plays with all his might and goes on to win the match. If Andy wanted, he could have just kept silent and won the championship and probably thousands of dollars. But he did not do. But what he did was to display integrity and sportsmanship. As you move up in your careers and personal life, there will be opportunities for you to do the right thing, even if it's not the easiest thing on the table. And they say integrity is doing the right thing when nobody is watching. So if there's one virtue, one value, which is going to be the most important one as you build your lives, it's going to be integrity. And integrity builds trust over a period of time. This is the last story. And this is a picture from the 2016 India-New Zealand match, where the Indian men's cricket team wore jerseys with not their name, but the names of their mothers. We all will get busy with our careers, we'll all get busy with our professional lives. But one thing that's most important and that you should keep most important is family and friends. Grow in your careers, do well, but always take the time to spend the time with the people you love and the things you like to do. So family, health, safety. These are the 3 most important things that I want to do. Family always first. And this is the quote I want to leave you all with. But it's never too late to be what you might have been. The initial message that was on the t-shirt, which is leave the jersey in a better place, is actually a catchphrase of the New Zealand's rugby team called All Blacks. And there is a quote that they use, which is leave the jersey in a better place, which means leave your legacy. Always be the best version of yourself, for yourself and for the world. So as you start your journeys, and then no, fly high. I hope you will build a legacy that you will be proud of and everybody else here is proud of. Thank you so much. Wish you all the best.